Hello, bookworms, bibliophiles, and lovers of all things literature. Welcome to the next chapter of the Braless Book Guild podcast, where we discard our bras and just vibe to talk about books both published and unpublished. We are your hosts. I'm Jenna. This is Marissa.
Hello.
And Megan.
Hi.
And before we get started, as always, we'll talk a little bit about what we're drinking today. Marissa, what are you drinking today?
I'm just drinking a Darjeeling. I don't know what company it is. Jenna, do you remember what it was?
Was it Twinings?
I think?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know the packaging. Like, I know the packaging, like, compared to Bigelow.
Yep.
And Twinings, it's just ingrained in my brain.
I mean, I knew it wasn't Bigelow. That's all I knew.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Twinings. And Megan, what are you drinking today?
I am actually reading,
You're reading.
see what's on my brain? I'm drinking a spiced bergamot black tea called Kylo Ren's Rescue, and it's by Woodsong Herbs, and it is black tea, bergamot, cinnamon, orange peel, allspice, cloves, and lemon extract. And compared to what it smelled like when I smelled it at like the little market that I got it at, I didn't really care for it, but also it's Kylo Ren, so I had to get it. So now that I'm drinking it, it's actually really good.
I actually really liked it. I took a sip of your tea and it was really good. I almost wish that I had done that today. But I did the creme brulee. Whenever Megan brings the creme brulee tea, I always kind of give in and do that one. I just need to end up buying myself a big, huge, gigantic pound bag of that because I'll go through it for sure. But also, green tea is very soothing and soft for my stomach. So I want to go with something lighter and easier on my stomach today too, as I'm eating my chocolate gluten-free muffin. I guess
the sugar in it is not good. Yeah,
compromise here.
It's all about balance, right?
Yes. Okay, so today we want to do an all-time favorite. A lot of people really like when we do the recommending books to each other because we had to get a delve a little bit more into books, and you guys can hear a little bit more about the book and decide whether or not you want to read it, maybe. But also I think it gets to show our interests a little bit deeper rather than just listing off books, which we tend to do sometimes. So we want to do that today. The ironic part about it is that for some reason, I could not think of a book that I would recommend to both of you that I read last year or even in the last 2 years that I haven't talked to death about on this podcast. Witch Collector. Serpent and
The Song of the Night.
And the Song of the Night. And all of those ones I've talked to death. So, I'm going to do something a little different, but when we get to me, I'll talk about it. But yeah, so we thought we'd go into it a little bit today and talk about books that we really enjoyed that we think each other would enjoy, and or you listeners might enjoy. And so yeah, let's get started. Marissa, let's start with you because I already know what book, and I want to hear.
Looking at me,
Marissa, it doesn't help that Megan and I are both on a couch facing you.
I know.
So you are literally on the spotlight.
and I need to stop watching the waves because all I'm thinking about right now is editing.
I'm going to start with you because you talked a little bit already about what book you were thinking about using for this. So now I'm curious about it, and I want to hear more about this book.
Yeah, when you guys, because we were like, hey, we didn't actually decide, we decided we were going to do a week ahead what our topic was going to be this week. So yesterday, I was like, what are we talking about?
I thought about that. I laughed a little bit when you sent that, and I was like, we literally just talked about, oh yeah, we're gonna be ahead of time.
Well.
We're gonna have plans so that we have time to think about things. And then you sent it yesterday. I was like, oh gosh,
yeah,
we are in February, so we've, second month of the year, we've already failed our resolution here.
I also thought that.
Yeah. So when I think Megan, you were the one that suggested we convince each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know any books that I read last year that wasn't required reading, but
I did also think about that after I sent it because I remember doing our 2024 wrap up. You were just like, yeah, most of my books that I read and completed this year were all required reading. And then after I sent that, I was just like, oh wait,
yeah,
you can recommend Girls of Paper and Fire.
There you go. But no, that's not what I'm going with. I thought about it and I was trying to think of books that I'd read that I didn't think you guys read, but that I thought you guys would like. And, I could have gushed about How to Lose a Time War, but I don't think that'd be something either of you guys would like. But I do remember, not last year, but the year before is when I read the very secret, one more time. I read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches stand by because I know the name, by Sanguu Mandanna, I think is how you pronounce it. And that's gonna be what I say after I say every author's name now. But yeah, I remember I did audiobook for this, and I remember very much enjoying it and thinking that both of you guys would really like this book. So, I figured I'd try to convince you guys to read it, if you haven't read it yet.
You did audiobook for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how was the audiobook for it?
Obviously, I liked it.
That's true, I guess. If you didn't like it, you probably wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time. It was sometime near the end of the year of 2023, so it's been over a year since I did it. But I do remember liking it and remembering that the narrator didn't ruin the book at all, so.
Oh, cool. That is a book that I have heard so many times that people absolutely love. And a lot of people who do read it, they're just like, yeah, this is so fun and very charming, I guess I heard. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've heard lots of people absolutely love it.
Yeah, so I guess I forgot how we do this. Do I give you a description first, or you guys tell me how much you're going to read it before I give you a...
I'm a 10. I want to read it.
Okay, so...
You don't need to convince me.
I don't need to. I'm just going to tell you why it's good.
All right, excellent.
It's been on my TBR. It's actually on my Libby holds, and it's one of those ones. I think I put it on in Halloween last year, but it didn't come through for Halloween. And then I lost the interest in the witchy vibe for a little bit, so I just keep pushing it out. And I'll borrow it later. But
I'm pretty sure I listened to it on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
So if you have the Spotify premium, you should be able to get that on there if you want to. But yeah, so you guys probably know a bit about it at least.
I know nothing except it's
Megan
about a secret society. And people love it.
Megan's like, I like the title. I'm going in.
I think I
cover
just added
cute,
a ton of witches to my TBR, so I don't think I actually even read anything about it. I think I just was like, what witch books have pretty good reviews that I can add for Halloween, so they can have Halloween themes, and it was just one of the ones. So
yeah,
I'm curious to hear about it. I literally, like I said, just chose it. And if I did read about it, I don't remember because I chose like 700 witch books to add to my list that month.
Yeah. Okay, so the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches is described as a cozy read, and I agree with that. It is very much a cozy read, but it's the main character is Mika Moon, which I think is just a fantastic name in the first place.
I love
so
that
much.
name.
So in this world of witches exist, but they're not really supposed to congregate, because the more witches you have together, the more unpredictable magic becomes, and it's kind of a dangerous thing. So being a witch is a very lonely existence, and this secret society of witches meet occasionally in order to, exchange spells and kind of like give each other a quick update on what's going on, and then they separate. And
It's like a book club.
Yeah.
They're like a book club.
Yeah.
For the occult.
And it's very important that witches remain secret. You don't tell anybody about it. This is all very hush-hush. Mika is part of this.
This is why Twilight's much more relatable.
Realistic.
Realistic.
I'm sorry, realistic.
Shout out to our first episode of this volume. Anyways, so Mika is part of this little secret society. I was like, yeah, of course I'm not going to tell anybody about witches and stuff. And instead she runs a vlog where she, quote, pretends to be a witch.
That is so stinking cute.
And basically is like hiding in plain sight type thing. And then she gets a message from somebody who's all like, hey, you're a witch. I need help with something. And is like, I know you're a witch. We need you. Come to our house. And she's kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. Ends up going to this house called Nowhere House. And, where there are 3 little girls who are witches all living under the same house. And these people that are kind of like the caretakers of the house ask her to help teach these little girls to be witches.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. And, of course there's, romance in it.
Good.
Yes. It's a
Something.
good romance too. I think it's a pretty good one. It's a straight romance, but it's a good romance.
Nice.
But there's also a gay couple in it, and then there's like a lesbian couple you meet later on very briefly. So there is some representation in it as well. But yeah, and basically she's there trying to figure out like how to teach these little girls, but also kind of teach them like you can't all really be together because that's really dangerous, and figure out kind of a mystery that's going on in this house as well.
Ooh, a mystery.
Yeah.
There's got to be conflict. So
Of
even if
course.
for a cozy, there's got to be a bit of conflict.
Of
Right.
course.
Right.
So yeah, but people have described it when you look online as like practical magic meets the house on the Cerulean Sea, which I just read, so I know about that, but you guys don't. But it's very much just that like, cozy witchy vibe that you get to it with a little bit of mystery.
I love cozy and witchy, so I'm all for that.
And I love practical magic.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Practical Magic's one of my favorites. So
That
yeah.
is very, oh, it sounds so cute.
Well, now I want to read it next time it comes up, even though I wish it was October because I like to read witchy. I don't know why. I don't know why I have to do that, but I just specifically love witchy things in October. It like feels right to me. But now I want to read it now.
Go ahead.
It's great because there's like these quirky characters in it too, of like Ian and what's the other guy's name? Hold on, Ian and Ken.
Ken, how could you forget Ken? He is Knuff.
God. Ian and Ken are the this like gay married couple that lives on the house, and Ken is the gardener, and Ian is a former actor, so he is very flamboyant and boisterous.
I love it.
But yeah, they're cool characters. The little girls are cool and unique. Each of them is very unique, has their own personality to them.
Is it like the sisters from Despicable Me? The little
Kind
girls?
of. I did watch Despicable Me. It's been since it came out, basically, that I watched it, so.
I'm sure Elias would love to watch it with you. And then he'll become obsessed with Minions, as all kids are.
He was obsessed with
Oh.
Minions when we did the Christmas light thing.
Yeah, he
Oh.
hasn't quite figured out, like, they'll occasionally come on because Elias likes songs. So,
Oh, yeah,
He
there's not
likes,
songs in that one.
he likes, like, we'll put on YouTube, like, Disney songs or whatever, so he can, like, watch Elsa sing Let It Go, and then we'll go to Moana, and so every once in a while YouTube will just throw in, like, a random Minion thing, which literally is, like, every parent's worst nightmare because it's the Minion noises just
Are
loud
annoying, yeah.
for 4 minutes straight. But he hasn't quite figured them out on the TV or cared about them yet on the TV, but he loves them when it's Christmas time and they have little blow up minions. He's like,
Oh,
Minion,
yeah.
Minion. So,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what rating did you give your book?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
It was probably like a 4, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And what
Maybe.
did you specifically like about it?
The atmosphere of it, I would say.
Was that like the writing style that lent to the atmosphere, or
Oh, I don't know the writing style that well because I did
audiobook? That's
yeah.
true. That's very true.
So it was more just like, I mean, the characters really came alive. I liked how unique the characters were, and it was just kind of that, like I said, the witchy vibes of it. I liked how the witches were portrayed in it, and just like the found family aspect of it as well. Because Mika's lonely because she's supposed to be. No, she's not supposed to get
Right.
close to other people, and then she ends up coming to this house and building this family with this house.
I think I totally get it though. I think that there's some books out there that it's not necessarily like there's a certain thing that's exactly like this is what I loved about it because of the romance, or I loved this. It's like sometimes some books just put you in like a different state of mind and a different feeling, and it's like you go into that book with that feeling. It's like some books just bring a part of feeling to you. I like that.
Like 10,000 Doors of January.
Right. 10,000 Doors of January is, I think, one of the hardest books for me to explain to people because I don't want to explain it to them. So when I tell people to read it, I'm just like, look, it's just a vibe that you'll get when you get into it. Like, I don't want to tell you anything about the book because I didn't know anything about the book going in, and I loved it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you know too much about it, you'll overthink it and not enjoy it the way you're supposed to.
I want to do a reread of that one
Yeah,
this
that's
year.
a good one.
I think you guys would like the love interest Jamie because he's the librarian.
Yes.
Sounds like a soft romance, obviously.
Well-
Not a shadow daddy.
No shadow daddies here.
Shadow daddy librarian.
Well, he kind of comes off as a jerk at first, but you kind of get to know him a bit more, and you learn it's because he's very, like, protective of the girls.
We love a good tsundere. We love them so much.
So,
Okay.
As I drink my Kylo Ren tea.
I hate Kylo Ren.
Listen. Me too. But also fan fiction. He's perfect in fan fiction.
He's perfect when he's not himself.
He's perfect. I actually just saw
He's
an
perfect
interview.
when women fix him.
I saw an interview with Adam Driver who played Kylo Ren, and they're just like, what kind of husband would Kylo Ren be? And he was like, understanding, communicative, and everything that Kylo Ren is not, gentle. And I was like, well,
The fan
in the
fiction.
fan fiction, he is. So yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Well, Megan and I went from 10s to 11s for this book now.
Make that a 20.
A 20. Doubling the digits.
My only problem is I want to read all of these books, but I'm so determined this year to just stick to my TBR.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I already broke that in January by rereading The Hunger Games, so I think I could just throw it all out the window and just forget it in February.
I sent you that thing, and I mean, it works for DNFs, but it also, I feel like, works for many other things. And it was like a little meme or whatever that I saw, and maybe I'll just repost it on our Instagram. But it was like, continuing to read a book that you want to DNF is the I can fix him, but it gives like I can fix him vibes or something.
But for books, yeah.
But for books.
And that was me last year.
And it's like, sometimes even though you go into something with this mindset, you have to be adaptable and change things up, I think. So yeah, stick to your TBR. You'll get through your TBR, but at the same time, especially with this podcast, I think the hard part about the podcast is that we throw so much out there,
Right.
that it makes it hard for us to stick to a list completely. Because all of a sudden we'll be like, oh, that book sounds good, and so you move it up to the top of your list.
And I think maybe what I can do to circumvent that is to maybe one book a month I allow outside my TBR. So this will be it. And I would say like immediately, yeah, I'll save it for October, but then I'll probably forget by October.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I'll probably put it on my Libby now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Add it to the Libby.
I chose the worst book to try to convince you guys to read because you guys already wanted to read it, so it didn't matter. It was just like, here's what the book's about. Okay, we're gonna read it.
But you know what's funny is that we wanted to read it, but we didn't know much about it. And for the people out there that don't know anything about it, that are listening to this podcast, are like, wait, I'm going to add that. I think it's a book also that's that I've seen people say is good, but I usually only see it recommended when it's like top 20 witchy books for spooky season vibes and stuff like that. It's not something that I see talked about on like Book Talk or Instagram often enough that I think that it's a good one to get out there and tell people about too.
I will have it in 10 weeks. I am 110th in line.
Maybe it'll be next month's off your
10 weeks. That's like 3 months from now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Just under 3
but,
months.
every time they tell me like 10 weeks, it's always like I get it a little
People
earlier.
skip it, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Also, fun story. When I typed in the very secret, the second thing is the very secret sex lives of medieval women. That was the second one.
Maybe add that to your TBR too. You can tell us about that next time.
And it says, an inside look at sexual practices in medieval England. You know what? If you want some education, is this nonfiction? Because maybe that could be my nonfiction book of the year. Nah.
It's research for your work.
Oh, literally.
It would be perfect.
Literally. I could get so much information.
Yeah. All right. Well, Megan, let's hear about your book then.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I literally just finished this last week. And it is Book of Night by Holly Black. And we all know Holly Black, the Cruel Prince author. She's very popular, very well known. And she's been around since we were like, I think just out of high school. because she came out with Tithe,
Yeah.
which is also a fae. So she's been around for a hot minute.
She just blew up because of Cruel Prince. Cruel Prince like really blew up.
Definitely. Yes. Even my best friend Hannah was just like, should I read Cruel Prince? Yeah. Anyway, so, oh, by the way, best friend Hannah is in Korea right now. She just
really?
arrived there this morning. Actually, she sent me a message, but I was asleep. So anyway, so I just finished this book and I looked at the reviews, and what was interesting about these reviews was a lot of people were just like, I was so excited because Cruel Prince is my favorite and I was so disappointed in this book. But me, who has only read The Cruel Prince and didn't care for it, I absolutely loved this book. One, because it was very atmospheric, similar to Marissa's, but in a very, very different way. So do you guys know anything about it?
No. All I know is that it was written by Holly Black and that it was not as popular as Cruel Prince, but more popular than her Tithe series.
Yes.
That's
So
what I know.
it is an adult series, I would say, not in the sense that it is like adult, but like not a young adult, but also not new adult.
So not sexy, but also not young.
There is sex scenes, but it's more fade to black.
Okay.
So like it'll like ramp it up and then fade to black, which
Somewhere in between.
sometimes I like those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the foreplay without the...
Yeah. No, there's really no. They didn't have time for foreplay.
Ah.
Anyway, okay, so I am like really worried that I'm going to spoil too much of it because so much happens in this book, but also I will say it feels very dark academia, but I feel dark academia usually takes place in like a school of some kind, but the main character is too poor to go to school, so I don't know.
So kind of not.
Yeah. Like it involves magic. So magic is in the shape of you can it's called glooming/gloaming, where you can alter your shadows in a way that's like plastic surgery. So you can like give your shadows wings and then you can like hover off the ground a little bit because your shadow like kind of holds you up a little bit. Or you can give your shadow like horns, or so like people famous actors and actresses will change their shadows for each movie that they portray, and that like adds in like this cool thing for the movie, the performance. And then but another side of that is people will have their shadows like ripped away from them. And so like the important thing is that you learn very early on that her boyfriend doesn't have a shadow. And so her younger sister, who she lives with, thinks that there's something wrong with him because something's off about him because he doesn't have a shadow. And she's just like, well, we don't really know much about shadows, so we just assume if you lose your shadow, you lose like a bit of your soul. So he's just kind of bland. And that's why. But he's nicer than the rest of the boyfriends that she's had because, you know, she's like, there's like that curse. I'm saying this in quotes. It's not really a curse, but it's like, oh, my mother always had really bad boyfriends who were like abusive or really mean or just not really nice guys. And I've kind of followed in her footsteps and always dated like the rough and tumble guy who was actually a jerk kind of thing. So there's that. So without going into spoilers, I want to, also the main character's name is Charlie. And I kept thinking of you, Marissa, and your book every time. Okay, I want to read the synopsis for you guys just because I don't want to spoil anything. So, this is from Goodreads. In Charlie Hall's world, shadows can be altered for entertainment and cosmetic preferences, but also to increase power and influence. You can alter someone's feelings and memories, but manipulating shadows has a cost, with the potential to take hours or days from your life. Your shadow holds all the parts of you that you want to keep hidden, a second self standing just to your left, walking behind you into lit rooms, and sometimes it has a life of its own. Charlie is a low-level con artist working as a bartender while trying to distance herself from the powerful and dangerous underground world of shadow trading. She gets by doing odd jobs for her patrons Odd jobs for her patrons and the naive new money in her town at the edge of the Berkshires. But when a terrible figure from her past returns, Charlie's present life is thrown into chaos and her Charlie's present life is thrown into chaos and her future seems at best unclear and at worst non-existent. Determined to survive, Charlie throws herself into a maelstrom of secrets and murder, setting her against a cast of doppelgangers mercurial billionaires, shadow thieves, and her own sister, all desperate to control the magic of the shadows. So that's that.
Okay.
And that's like as far as I will go, because there are so many twists and turns to this book that I don't like. I'm just too scared to like spoil anything.
No, I get it.
But what I really, really, really loved about this book was the world building was so good and so in depth, even though in this world, like manipulating shadows is still relatively new, like within the 90s, I said, like 90s to now, I think. It's relatively new. But then there's like these history books of these people, the Glomists, the people who like could manipulate shadows and use magic. There's like history of them over the decades, like, and their like Book of Shadows or the journals that they would keep to like use this magic. They would find those, and that's like a coveted thing, is to have these books, because then there's like magic and stuff involved. The romance that's in there is like very minuscule.
Okay.
Which is good, because I'm just like, okay.
You spend a lot of time in the romance world. You need a little bit of a break sometimes.
I do. And sometimes, like Marissa said, if the book has a good romance, then yeah, you can enjoy it. But also, I don't want an entire creative world to be made just to set up a romance.
Yeah.
Like, I want the story, I want the world, I want like how the characters fit in these world. But yeah, so she did a really good job of this. And I got this book in Illumicrate, I think it was, in maybe 2020 or 2021. Let me see when the book was released. 2022, actually. Okay. So I've had this book in my possession for over 2 years, and I just started reading it, and I'm so glad I did, because it has this huge, huge, huge cliffhanger on like the very last page. And the second book comes out September of this year.
Oh, thank God. You don't have to wait super long.
No. So I'm very happy, because I know Holly Black herself. She wrote this in between, I think, finishing up The Cruel Prince, and then in between, what's the second series about Oak?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
The Prince of Elfame or something? Yeah. So she wrote it in between them and then hopped back into the Cruel Prince world.
So would you say this is more witchy vibes and less fae vibes?
Oh, it's definitely witchy.
Okay.
There's no fae. It's all just humans, basically. I wouldn't even say witchy, even though they call it like magic. It doesn't really feel like magic to me, but it is. It's definitely fantasy, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry, all I could think about is Peter Pan trying to sew his shadow
Yeah.
back on.
And that's literally what they do. It's like if someone loses their shadow and they manage to get another one, they just sit there and they just sew it back on, like with an actual needle. And I'm just like,
Yeah, very
wait a
Peter
second.
Pan.
Yeah. And
Must
that's,
have had.
it felt like that was like the inspiration for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say she must have had inspiration from Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I loved it. My only like negative aspect about this book is I wanted Charlie to talk to her younger sister and like tell her things. Like the whole communication thing that we had with the June Farrow. I wanted her to I just wanted to yell at her and be like, just tell your sister what's going on. I'm sure she'll understand. But she grew up with like you don't talk about this kind of stuff. You don't talk about what is wrong with you or what is going on. So I get that. Also, it like jumps back and forth between her past and like growing up to become a con artist to now. And then, so I was reading it, and it was another one of those things where I was reading it like, okay, I'll read one chapter before bed. And then it had a cliffhanger, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, one more chapter. But then it would jump to the past, and I'd be like, no, no, why would you do this to me? I have to wait another chapter just to find out what happened. But it was like in a good way. There is one plot twist that I called very, very early on, but I love the way that she like revealed it in the book. So like, again, I don't want to spoil it, but there's one plot twist that I was just like, oh yeah, I bet it's this. And then when it got to that point, I was like, yep, there it is. But also, that's cool. But then there was one plot twist, the one at the very last page that happened. And I was just like, wait, no, what? No. So yeah.
So I think it's interesting because I think that the fact that you talked about how that the romance is minuscule.
It is there.
Yeah. just not.
But it's not the forefront. And
Right.
it is part of the motivation, but not the entire motivation.
I was gonna say that is probably what people didn't like about the book, because Cruel Prince is
all about
the romance. I mean, it has a lot of other plot, it has a lot of other stuff into it too, but that's what people love. They love the Carden and Jude, and so they were probably going in looking for another Carden and Jude.
Yeah,
Carden and Jude.
I'm wondering if book 2 is going to have slightly more.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cruel Prince, the first Cruel Prince. There's really not much romance. It's all kind of
just anger. Yeah.
Being a jerk. And then all of a sudden it's like, because I'm obsessed with you. And I hate myself for it. In book 1, at least.
Yeah. I don't get it.
But I bet that's what people were probably disappointed.
Probably
because they wanted that aspect that they had found in Cruel Prince.
Mm-hmm.
If they went into it looking at that.
I think so. That actually makes like a lot of sense, because I could feel like maybe going into it, you know, she has her boyfriend and stuff. So I could see like, oh, you know, maybe there is going to be a literal shadow daddy out there for her. Because, you know, book 1 boyfriend is never endgame, of course. Right. And literally everyone is a shadow daddy in this.
It is an entire book of shadow daddies.
Literally, even the shadow mommies. But yeah.
That's cool.
So how about you guys? What would your rating be of this?
Well, before I to be honest, I didn't even have it on my interest. Like, it was a book that was out there, but I never probably would have picked it up. So I'd just be like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, now I'd say that if I saw it and I was in the right mood, I'd totally read it. Maybe like a 7 or an 8. But
yeah, this would also be a good Halloween, because it definitely has like the dark academia, spooky, not really spooky, a little bit of spooky vibes to it.
Yeah. The witchy kind of magical vibes a little
bit.
Maybe in Halloween time I'll start playing it. Maybe in like July, so that I can maybe get it.
Yeah, you start doing it in July and then see if you can
get it by October.
There you go. How about you, Marissa?
I'll be honest, I'm not really interested in reading this book that much.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was 0 before because I didn't even know it existed. But I'd say it's probably like a 3 or a 4. I'm not gonna lie, the magic system sounds really weird to me.
Oh.
And I think it's cool to think of like shadows controlling, like being like the focus for the magic system. But just the way it's described, it doesn't draw me in.
Okay. Yeah.
Doesn't pull you.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things about this book as well was like, people they call it quickening your shadow, to make your shadow like come alive, I guess, because, you know, normally you just have a regular shadow. And so in order to quicken them, people would like do body modification or like jump off cliffs to like traumatize themselves. So the sister bifurcated her tongue in order to do that, because everyone's like, oh yeah, that's one of the things that you can do. And then the funny thing about the older sister was like, yeah, all that got her was a slight lisp. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's funny. Makes sense.
Now that makes me think of, did you ever watch Rat Race?
Yes. Oh, and the piercing.
Yeah.
And he couldn't talk, but his brother could understand him. I love that movie so much.
I haven't watched that movie in years, but every once in a while I'll still like have like moments of it, like, I'm winning. Like,
we watched that at the cabin.
Yeah.
With Dave.
Oh yeah. I didn't watch it. I think I was off doing something else.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a good one. Also, I mean, Whoopi Goldberg, even Kathy Bates, my all-time favorite actress, is in it. And her squirrel.
You should have bought a squirrel.
Oh, good times. Good times.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I have 2 witchy vibed reads to put on my list.
I'm so glad we did this early in the year, and Jenna's gonna forget about them by the time she wants to read them.
Maybe I'll just read them early. Every once in a while I get into a witchy mood outside of October too, but
if you read it in October, though, by then the second book will be out. So then you can just hop right in.
Perfect.
And I'm hoping it's just a duology. I don't want it to wait 3 more years for a third one.
Oh, God, that would be awful.
But yeah.
Maybe I'll have to do that. So, okay, you guys, I have 2 options for you guys.
Oh, interesting.
Yet neither one she wants us to read.
No, okay. So here's the thing. I have one that I have a lot that I can say about, that's not, there's just a lot I can talk about this book. It's not all that I thought this book was the most amazing book ever. It's just that it's stuck in my head. And there's a lot that I can talk about. I don't know that, I think Megan will read it. I don't think Marissa will read it. Or there's a book that it's not as much that I could talk a lot about the book, but I think that you guys would both enjoy the book. And I think that having someone describe it to you might make you guys enjoy it a little more. So, what did you do?
Let's do the one for both of us.
Okay. So, then what I'm gonna talk about is The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which is,
well, that's unfair because it's on my shelf.
well, so is the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches for us. So I know Marissa was interested in this. It's funny because Marissa and I went to a bookstore with Elias one day, and we were walking
the
around.
one next to your house.
Yeah, the one next to the sushi place we go to.
Oh, Bookhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I thought you said that to Jenna, not to me.
No, to you, next to your house.
And Marissa saw it and she thought, like, oh, this looks cute. And I was like, oh, I've seen that before, but I don't really know anything about it. And so she's like, I probably shouldn't buy it, whatever. And then when we went on our failed book pub crawl that we've only made half of the bookstores through.
That wasn't a failure. That was amazing. We saw
it was a
so
wonderful
many
day.
Awesome.
It was an amazing day.
Bookstores.
And now I want to go check out the other bookstores just for fun anyway.
I still have my list.
Yeah. But I ended up seeing it at one of the bookstores and bought it, and it's now been on our TBR, and it came through on my Libby, and so I read it. So this book is once again all about the vibes. Like, this book is definitely I wouldn't say it's geared. Yeah, it's geared kind of towards a younger audience. It's written for a younger audience to enjoy. But that doesn't mean that an older audience can't enjoy it. There's little to no romance in it at all. There's like one romantic couple kind of, but it's like, there's no romance. It was just this one guy had a crush on a girl and, eventually they ended up together kind of thing. Overall, it's like, this is just such an atmospheric book. And it took me back to like, how it felt to be reading as a young girl when you like first kind of fell in love with reading and like made you want to read those like fun, crazy different world vibe books. So the idea behind this book was that there's this town, and in the town, it's pretty much run by, I think they call it the council or something. I forget exactly what they call it. But the council kind of runs things. And then there's like a sisterhood too that is like in their tower, and they're like the secretive sisterhood. And the council has one day a year where the youngest baby in the town that has been born is sacrificed to a witch.
Oh, snap.
And so they take this youngest baby out of and leave it in the woods for this witch to take. Well, the council's like, there's not actually a witch. It's just, we use this to instill fear in the people and kind of keep people under control and like kind of keep people miserable here. And like everyone like, they're like, it's not really happening. There's not actually a witch. We're just leaving it to the animals and it'll die.
Oh God.
And so it's like, they're these evil people that are like literally just taking this youngest baby from random people and like leaving it to die. But what they don't know is that there is actually a witch in the woods.
Oh, snap.
Who comes and picks up these babies, and she doesn't understand why this town leaves a baby once a year on the same day every year. But she takes this baby and she takes it to these other cities outside of this town and finds them homes with families that would love them. And while she's walking, like, she brings goat's milk to feed the baby for a while, but it's a long journey. So she's a witch and she feeds them bits of the stars. And so these are known as like star children or something. And they're like special and extraordinary because they've got a little bit of the stars. And so they've got a little bit of magic in them. And so like the witch is actually the good guy, but the townspeople think the witch is the bad guy. And the witch is just like, I don't understand why you guys keep leaving babies out, but I guess I'm going to take them from this sad town to people that will love them, since these people don't love these babies. And it all starts because there's the nephew of one of the councilmen, like, is apprenticing to be in the council or whatever. And he is, like, asking too many questions. And they're like, we don't want to tell him that, like, this is what's happening. And so he goes with them. It's the day of the sacrifice or whatever. And they go to pick up the baby. And they're like, usually the parents are just sad, but they know their place. And they're just like, kind of like, everyone follows and watches this sad progression of us taking the baby and leaving it outside the city gates and in this copse of trees. And it's funny because, like, there's, like, a point where it's like, oh, you know, he noticed 6 trees. He could have sworn there was 5 trees before, but now there's 6 trees. And it's, like, weird little things like that. But, and then I think the guy's name is Antonio. I could be wrong. Is the young, like, apprentice, like, young one that's like, but why do we have to do this? We shouldn't have to do this.
Questioning,
and, like,
yes.
They're like, don't, you know, he's like, why don't we try to talk to the witch? And, like, the uncle's like, there's no freaking witch, but I can't tell you that, you know? And so they go to get the baby, and the mom freaks out. The mom's like, you're not taking my child. And she's, like, climbing up to the roof trying to take the child. And the guy's like, why is this woman making it so hard? Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, you know, like, this is what we have to do. And so he takes the mom, and they like, oh, she's sick. So we're going to send her to the sisterhood. And so she gets locked up with the sisterhood. And,
I feel like Jenna's just telling us the story beat by beat right now.
I know.
No, this is literally just in the very beginning. This is like the setup for the whole story. So they take her to the sisterhood, and they take the baby, and they leave the baby out there. And then, so the witch comes and gets the baby. And when she's going to take this baby to, the free people to find the city, she's just kind of like enamored by this baby. And she's just like kind of gets distracted with it. And she's feeding it stars, and then she accidentally feeds it the moon, which imbues the baby with magic. Like, so now the baby becomes a witch.
I feel like stars are more magical than the moon. Just saying. The moon is literally either a hunk of cheese or just a rock.
That's fair. But at the same time,
Stars are just the sun.
oh,
know,
just
stars
farther
are-
away.
Stars are giant
Actually,
balls of fire, Marissa.
Stars
Just
are
balls
much
of gas.
further away, and therefore less effective on us than the
That's
moon
what-
is.
Listen. We're going to write our own books debating this topic.
I love this. But yeah, so essentially the baby becomes imbued with magic, and the witch who is called Nan throughout this is like, well, I can't leave you with just any family now because you're essentially a young baby that's full of magic, and that's dangerous. So I'm going to take care of you, and you're going to be mine. And Nan kind of like loves this child, and it becomes her child, and becomes this kind of found family. And she has a bog monster and a tiny baby dragon who
This
thinks he's
feels-
huge.
I can imagine this as a Hayao Miyazaki film.
Yeah.
Like, I'm imagining it right now.
It has that like that kind of vibes and that kind of feel to it. And it's like, there's the bog monster and the tiny dragon that thinks he's huge because his mom told him he was huge. So they're like, I don't know why you're not huge, but I guess you're huge. And there's like these little mysteries about it, like why the dragon stays little and all of this stuff. But they all become this little girl's family. And it just has like a fun, unique way of telling the story and what's going on. And then like there's like the mystery aspect of why they're actually taking these babies and dropping them off. And it all kind of like comes to a head when as things like progress and as different things go on throughout the story. And it's funny because it kind of had that cozy read feel where like sometimes you'd be sitting there like, what's the actual plot of this? Like, what's the big contention, you know? But as it's going, you're kind of like realizing that it's building that plot throughout the whole thing. So each little piece of it like plays a role. And it's just, it has a really good like atmosphere and vibe and way of telling it. And it's kind of like cute and heartbreaking and like sad but funny at the same time. And it's like, it's one of those books that I think that really made me remember what it was like to fall in love with reading when you're young. It's not super heavy. So it's something that you could easily pick up, read in like a few days and then put down, and like it just kind of sits with you, you know?
Interesting.
And I liked that about it.
Do you have a comparison of what it would be like, a comparison to a book that we read when we were younger?
You know, it's funny because it reminds me a lot of books that we read when we were younger, but I can't think of exactly which one it would be. It almost like, I want to say it gives like kind of like a Wrinkle in Time vibes or something like that, but not at the same time. It just has that kind of feel of like, it almost could be a required reading when you're in like 7th grade, 8th grade.
Okay, yeah.
But at the same time, it would have been one of those required readings that I would have fallen in love with, you know? But I don't think that it would be. I don't think it has that heavy of a story that they would have chosen that as a required reading. Where it's like, oh wow, let me dig into the metaphors here. But it's funny because it's like the world that they build with it is different. So it's like the bog monster is always like speaking in poetry, and he's like, the world came from the bog. The bog was the first thing, and like all and stuff like that. And then it's just like, I don't know. There's just different aspects to it that were really kind of fun and unique, and it was just a good nostalgic kind of feeling read, which I think you guys would both really enjoy.
Very cool.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? More likely to read it? Marissa, now that it's sitting on your shelf, are you more likely or less likely to read it?
No, I mean, I was going to read it anyways. Just matter of when. And that's just going to be whenever I am in that mood to read it.
It is definitely, I will say it is definitely a mood read. It is definitely something that I think you would enjoy, but don't go into it thinking too much that I have to be in like a young mood read, because I think you can still enjoy it without taking that youth aspect of it. Like, but also not something when you want something really heavy and metaphorical and like a lot of stuff to it.
Yeah. I definitely, because my thought process on it was kind of like when I introduced you to the Dragon Prince.
Right.
I was like, I knew I had to go into it kind of thinking like, this is definitely for kids, but
yeah,
I will see what I can get from it.
Yeah, it's definitely it's geared towards kids, but I think that it would be more appreciated by an older audience kind of thing too. What about you, Megan?
Same as Marissa. Yeah, I sounds really fun.
Yeah.
And like I said, Hayao Miyazaki style.
Yes.
So I definitely like that a lot. That's like a lot of my favorite books are kind of that feel.
Mm-hmm.
Minus, what was it, Grave of the Fireflies? But it just depends on when.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we all know that I love younger, like middle grade-ish style books because of Percy Jackson and all of those. But yeah, I would like to read it. I'm 9-ish, yeah.
I would say that I went into this knowing it was a younger book because we found it in the younger section, like middle grade section. And I went into it kind of expecting more of the Percy Jackson feel, where the like, she drank the moon and now she's the chosen one and she's gonna come and fight and it's definitely more the Miyazaki, like it felt more. I could have seen it really easily as an animated film.
Yeah. Really.
But yeah, it was not what I expected going into it, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Very cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah, this is always fun.
I love this. I definitely I think that we should do this more. I think that the unfortunate thing right now is that I feel like a lot of the books that I've read last year, I just wanted to read a lot of books. And I feel like I'm picky lately.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like lately I've been really picky with my books. I've been doing a lot of recommendations from either Book Talk or like, these are popular books or whatever. And then I'm just like, I'm disappointed by this and I'm disappointed by that. And I don't like this and I don't like that. And it's like, so finding books that really blow me away that I want to talk about and recommend to everyone is kind of hard lately.
And I feel like we often talk about books and recommend them to each other just through talking on our podcast. So it's difficult to come up with one specific book that we haven't over talked about.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but yeah, having this maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or knowing that we want to do this more. If we know we want to do this more, maybe we won't gush about the other ones quite as
keep
much.
it secret. Keep it safe.
Be like, oh yeah, I read this book that I really like. I'll talk about it more the next time we do one of those.
Can we do that though?
No, I have no self-control.
I have no self-control. Yeah.
But it was fun. I like these things. But yeah. So, guys, if you guys know any books out there that kind of gave really good vibes that you think that we would really enjoy,
That's
take
like,
us away.
I think the biggest point for all of our books this week
Was the vibes.
was the vibes. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, guys. So, before we get going, why don't we talk a little bit about what books we're reading now? I know we've kind of been, I don't know, me and Marissa were talking about this earlier, but we'll start with you, Megan. Megan, what are you reading?
I am reading my audio book that I just hopped into is Foul Heart Huntsman, which is again part of These Violent Delights.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have now officially gone from, it was book 1, These Violent Delights, to book 3, Foul Lady Fortune, and then I went back to book 2, which was Our Violent Ends, and then I did book 3.5, which is the what's it called, novella in between. So now I'm on book 4. So I just went in a very weird reading, and I do not recommend doing that. So I'm on book 4, which is Foul Heart Huntsman by Chloe Gong.
I want to read those books for sure. Didn't we talk?
Do them in order.
Was it was it through here that we all talked about how it was another Shakespeare book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we came up with it was As You Like It.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I think when I went to Australia, they had a pop-up Globe Theater. And I think that is the one that I saw. Because I remember a very specific part where they were talking about, this is like back in 2017, when Australia government was trying to decide whether or not they wanted to have marriage legal.
Mm-hmm.
Any form of marriage, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Because gay marriage is just marriage, by the way.
Yeah.
So they were like going through that. And I remember the Pop-Up Globe Theater was from New Zealand actors. And halfway through the show when they were just like, oh, a man loves a man. And then the actor like turned to the audience like, good luck, Australia.
Good luck, Australia.
And I remember being like, yes. So I think that's the one I saw in Australia. And I remember it being so funny.
That's good. All right, Marissa, what about you? What are you reading?
I didn't read much this week, but I still need to start Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. But I was gonna say I did just order a book, so Jenna is probably coming tonight to your house because all my stuff gets shipped to Jenna's place.
That's fair. It's easier at my house.
But it's a poetry book. It's Brian Bilston. You caught the last, or you took the last bus. Well, hold on, let me see. You took the last bus home.
Oh, you'll have to let me know how it is. I need to read a poetry book again.
It's good. I like Brian Bilston. I discovered him on Facebook because there's random stuff that gets posted. It's a pen name. I don't remember what his real name is. But I actually brought it up because it's really short. You took the last bus home is one of his poems, and it's just a bunch of turn of phrase ones. But this one's like, you took the last bus home. Don't know how you got it through the door. You're always doing amazing stuff like that, like the time you caught the train.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
I like it.
I might have to read that one as well because that is my style.
Yeah.
Jelani and I.
Yes. It feels kind of Shel Silverstein a little bit.
It is a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's much like Shel Silverstein. He's got so many poems that are like that you don't think, like, you're like, oh, that's really goofy and just turn a phrase, but then when you look at it, you're like, oh wow, there's actually a lot of meaning to this.
Yeah.
The message going through.
Okay, well, you might get your book and be like, I've already read it. Here you go. It comes to your house tonight. You come over tomorrow. And I'm like, thanks. I read this.
You like Mark? Done.
Yeah.
You find a little note, my annotations. I liked this one, Marissa. This one reminded me of you. You're like, what the hell, Jenna?
And then some scribbles in there from Elias.
And then, yeah,
Oh yeah, Elias liked that one.
That was Elias's favorite.
He didn't get it, but he liked it.
Cool. Yeah. I definitely need to read more poetry books. I think, I enjoy poetry, and it's one of those things where it's like, I do the same thing where I find it through Facebook or Pinterest or whatever, and I'll find like, that's how I found a lot of Nikita Gill, is I'd find like snippets of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I never sit down and actually just read the whole book. My friend Robbie, actually, who, I don't know if either of you guys have met, but I met him through the tea shop. He's one of my good friends, mine and Angela's. He wrote a poetry book, and it's amazing and wonderful and when I got that, I was like, I need to read more poetry, and I did not. But yeah, I love poetry. So
Did you say what you're reading?
I did not. So the funny thing is, I was telling Marissa, 2 episodes ago when we did this, I was like, oh, I'm reading Onyx Storm. Well, I took a break from Onyx Storm because I was like, maybe I'm not ready to read this because it's going to be forever for the next book and blah, blah, blah. And then I took a break and started reading The Haunted Ever After, which is on my phone. By Jen DeLuca. And I still really haven't finished either of those books. So I'm still reading both of those books. And depending on whether or not I have my son or whether or not I can just read on my phone, I kind of jump into either one of them. And like I said, I'm kind of picky at the moment. So like, I'd say Jen DeLuca right now, Haunted Ever After is very, very cozy. And it was kind of an instant romance.
Oh,
no. It's not necessarily like a love at first sight. I'd say I'd say it's the most realistic romance that I've read. Like, very realistic. Like, girl meets, which is funny because it's all about like an entire town full of ghost hauntings. So I'm sitting here, this is the most realistic romance I've ever read about hauntings. But it's very like girl meets guy. There's a big misunderstanding for like 2 seconds, and then it's like, but I'm attracted to you. Let me ask you out on a date. And like, is this actually kind of a date? Maybe it's kind of a date. Yeah, it's a date. And then like, there's just not a lot of flirty banter or like build up for them. It's just kind of like, and we're kind of dating. And like, then I got to the point where they have a misunderstanding. They have a misunderstanding, and I just kind of like rolled my eyes so hard and was like, this is kind of ruining the book for me for the moment. And I wasn't that invested. So I took a break from that, went back to Onyx Storm and started reading that. And then kind of got a little frustrated with Onyx Storm. And so now I'm back and forth. But the funny thing is that now I'm in between 2 books, in the middle of 2 books that I need to finish. And I just got one of the Skip the Lines for Reckless, which is the second Powerless from Lauren Roberts.
But did you like Powerless enough to go into Reckless is the question.
So that's the funny thing. Okay, so the funny thing is that the other book that I was thinking about talking about today was Powerless. Because it's not that I loved that book, but it has sat in my brain enough that I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that I care enough about it. And I think that that's another one of those books that was a little bit nostalgic for me. Because it does feel like Red Queen, which I really enjoyed, but never finished because it took forever for the books to come out, and I never finished the whole series. So it has that Red Queen, almost the royalty but like competition, Throne of Glass, first Throne of Glass, competition in a royal environment vibes. It had the like psych aspect to it, which I enjoyed, and all of that. So it's like I enjoyed enough about that book that I want to read the next one. But when you do the skip the line ones, you only have 14 days to read it.
Oh, not at my library. You get 21 days.
I think some of them, it's not all of them, but it did tell me it's like you have 14 days for this one. And it's like, but because of the shorter time on it, it keeps my place in line just in case I can't finish it. But my place in line was really, really, really far out there. Like, yeah. And I was like, by the time I get it, I don't want to have forgotten everything I read in Powerless. So now I might take a break again in the middle of Onyx Storm and Haunted Ever After and read this one. I literally got this like right as we were recording this podcast. And I was like, so now I might take another break. And I feel like I'm all over the place with reading my books right now.
It's January, or no, it's not January. It's February. You're fine.
It's fine. I'll finish them by the end of the year. And then we'll get there and be like, and I still haven't finished Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm reading Onyx Storm, Haunted Ever After, and possibly Reckless. So yeah, right. I'll let you know if any of them live up to my expectations.
Right.
None of them do.
Right.
But yeah. Okay, so guys, this sounds like I just edited that. I feel like when I just randomly change like topics really quick, it sounds like I'm just edited it in, but it's not.
Cropped it.
Especially when you go from like, I'm talking like this, and then I go, oh, okay, guys.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that wasn't actually edited, guys. It was just me being weird. But I just wanted to let you guys know, please, please, please like, follow, rate, review, subscribe, interact with us, in some way, shape, or form, because that's kind of what drives us, what gets us going, what builds our community. And And it's great talking to each other about books and getting recommendations, but it's even better when we get them from you guys and when we have more to talk about than just, well, we got this recommended from Book Talk. I want to tell you, I want to come on here and be like, guys, this listener told me to read this book and it was the best book I've ever read, and tell these guys about it. Like, that is my dream. I want to have listeners telling me what to read and even more homework, guys, but from you guys.
Speaking of listeners, we got another comment where they were like, you should go to YALLFest. And we're just like, well,
we wanna. I love it. I think that, I think our reels are really, a little bit more popular. They're kind of getting a little bit more traction. I don't think, we're not blowing up by any means yet. I'd love to blow up, but, I think that the more you guys who are listening tell your friends about us. My mom also messaged me yesterday and goes, I got to recommend your podcast to someone again.
Yay!
I was like, hey, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Hitting the East Coast.
Over on the East Coast.
We're gonna take America by storm.
Yeah. Over in North Carolina, because that's where YALLFest is and my mom. So we're gonna be over there.
We're good.
Start in North Carolina. But yeah, so guys, please talk to us and interact with us and do all the fun stuff because we're a small podcast that is really excited about everybody, and so every one of you listeners is exciting to us. So
yeah.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all
TikTok.
The fun places. TikTok. Because we haven't posted anything on TikTok yet.
Yes, we have. I have.
There's 2 videos.
4 videos now.
4
because I uninstalled TikTok when it got
Don't worry, I got you.
shut down. So
Good.
like, I'm done.
Yeah, so find us through all the social media outlets, all the fun things. As we get better at this, we'll expand everywhere else we are too.
Yeah.
But we're still learning and we're still figuring it out. So feedback is great. But anyway, okay, so shall we end on a quote? I like the one that Marissa found us.
Yes, I'm so excited for this quote.
But this is by Emma Thompson. It says, I think books are like people in the sense that they'll turn up in your life when you most need them. And I think that's kind of perfect for us. Like, we talked about vibes and everything. I think that's kind of perfect.
Yeah, we should have looked up a vibe quote.
Vibes.
The Beach Boys. Good vibrations.
Marky Mark.
What?
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, when we now are going to log off and have to come up with our plan for next week and not do what we did this week and procrastinate.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.